We are supposed to get some rain here soon, this afternoon. I don't think it's going to be a lot of rain, but a little. So, speaking of rain, it's been raining a good amount for our Mediterranean dry arid climate here, and we've had, probably close to 3 inches in the last week or so. But here's a geological, I don't know what you want to call it, like face, whatever. This is, I guess this used to be under the ocean, so this is like 98% sand. I've done a soil silt clay test in a bottle, and it's 98% sand. Again, this used to be the bottom of the ocean, and then you got a bunch of native habitat with, things from landscaping that have escaped. Anyways, I've been observing the water movement on this piece of land for a while, and this exposed geological, formation, there you go, formation, has been eroding, and sand has been coming down, and it used to pile up here like alluvial fan, all sand, and there was no plants whatsoever. This whole area was pure sand, which comes from this face. Boom, this is where it used to flow. So all sand. Now it's vegetated because there's been sort of intervention. So here's one of the main, I guess, what would you call it, tributaries or waterways or little dry running rill or creek, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter what scale it is. These things mimic each other on large and small scale. So this is a model in which you can try to figure out whether what you think about nature and how it works is accurate or not in the way water moves. So this is what this is. It's an intervention. All the sand washes down. There's a bit of a bank now. Let's see, where's my hand? Here's a bit of a bank now here, right here, and water diverts. Instead, it used to go down this way, now it diverts in here. And we're gonna kind of see, for a couple years now, where the water has been accumulating, and there's a little more water, and where there's a little more water, once there was sand, now there's life. Look at this grass. It's getting mulch, it's getting soil pushed to it. You're getting buildup of mulch material, clay being deposited, silt, and again some soil. And then here's a low spot, to harvest more water, and lo and behold, it's full of grass. We got a little, like a protective edge, armored spillway, and here's just a shovel full of a hole out of the ground, and lo and behold, this is like pretty green. You can see where this hole is, so it's where there's a little extra water, there's a little extra life. So that's a cool observation. Again, and so during this storm, one of these recent last storms that we had that was substantial, so over an inch, I came in here, and there's some native willow over here. There's some old tree branches, sticks, and kind of just layered them. Again, where you have this deposition of sand, this geological formation. You can see we'll follow this water trail, and then here's these interventions with native material. They're not quite on contour. Some people might be familiar with this, but it's slowing water. Boom, 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 boom. It's sinking water, and where you slow and sink water and accumulate it, look at our green friends, the grass is coming up. Where do the seeds pile up? Where does the soil pile up? It's going to be along here. Where does water sit longer and germinate seeds better? It's going to be behind here. And I think here's some of our proof and evidence. And just to show you how fresh this is, I mean, look, there's only one track of, here's an animal print. And here, so this is very, undisturbed. Here's fresh fresh water flow. Look at that pattern of the water. You know, let's go in this perspective. You see that fan of the water, and we can see these cuts. So you can really tell which way the water is flowing. See this movement of sand material. There's these cuts. These are like little plants, and that's why it forms little damish type things, because roots are holding on. But you know, the plants, here's a cut. Again, you can see. So this is a model. If you looked on Google Earth at any landscape, you would see this on a large scale. This is just a microcosm. It's a I think nature scales up pretty close to. Taking a guess here now. It might scale pretty close to 1-to-1. So small scales are large scales, large scales are small scales. But yeah, you have some water interventions, and here's again, we're trying to welcome some new grass. Here's the top of this, it's spilling down. Trying to welcome some new grass. This garden stuff that escaped looks like it escaped right here in a perfect curve. That's interesting how it escaped, and it grew perfectly in a curve that intercepts water. Here's a evidence of how fresh this flow is. Okay, and then we're sending water back into a system. Here's a low spot. Again, you can see how green. Give life a little water, and guess what? You get a little green. But there's a culvert at the end of this system. You know, a little more water accumulates here and here, and then there's the culvert where it all exits. So we're taking this where it used to flow over here down to alluvial fan, and it was pure sand. We diverted it around this bush, and now it's coming at us from right here this way, slowly going out, and fills in one of these little basins that were constructed. And then we have also the other way the water flows. It goes this way. It's curving back into our system, getting filtered by this escaped vegetation, nice and slow, back into a low spot and out the system, and we slow it each time so we don't have any fast moving water. And we've had some very significant rainfalls. A couple years ago, I think it was, we had 9 inches in like 3-ish days, so that definitely tested this. But the watershed goes up beyond this tree. Behind this tree, it's like a little sliver, like a triangle, and the tree's wider than it is down there. Water flows to the tree, overflows this pathway, boom. And again, I think we're at the end of the video, because that's the end of the watershed. All right, hopefully that made sense. Where there's water and extra material and things are organized just so, life happens.